boy, are you in for a treat. We're going all over my hair journey today. I'm going to tell you everything I've done to my hair before hair school, during hair school, and after, leading up until now. So buckle up because it's a wild ride. Okay, so up until freshman year of high school, I didn't really dye my hair at all, but I would use Sun-In. So that was pretty much the hair color I was starting with going into my freshman year of high school. And so we had done blonde box dye because the Sun-In was not cutting it. And then once I was over that and I decided I wanted to be dark, I had her do a very dark, probably almost black hair dye, box dye, you know, just the L'Oreal hair dye. But because my hair was so porous from the different bleaching, the Sun-In, the box bleach, it took different spots. I remember my hairstylist growing up, she was like, oh, it's so cool. It's kind of like you have a different hair color no matter where you part it. And I was like, that's definitely not what I was going for, but awesome. And it was almost like cheetah hair, like cheetah print, because it would take really well in some spots and other spots it wouldn't, which it didn't bother me at the time. I was just happy to have dark hair and I felt so edgy and cool, so I kept it for a while. And then I started getting highlights around junior year. I started getting highlights and breaking up that really dark color. I think it was the summer before junior year. I went to the salon and I got highlights, and I don't know how they did such a good job, but it looked really good. And then I kept that for pretty much until my senior year, my senior picture. I had that beautiful hair where it was pretty much most of my own, my natural, with just like highlights sprinkled throughout. And my hair had gotten so long for my junior prom. It was the longest it has ever been in my life, I think. And it's because it was pretty much all natural. My senior year, me and my friend decided it was going to be a really good idea if we bleached our entire head. And you know, I've seen so many videos on it, like we could totally do that. And so we did. We bleached our entire head in my bathtub. And remember, I had that highlighted hair, so when I put bleach all over my hair, those highlights essentially fell out. Now thankfully I had a lot of hair at the time. I'd say it was thicker than it is now. So even though I was washing the bleach out and it was just coming out, and every time I brushed my hair, the hairbrush would be full of loose hair that was just falling out, and I was crying and I was like, I'm gonna be bald. I kept it for a while. Eventually it did stop falling out, and I remember calling my aunt crying, and that's what she said. She was like, it'll eventually stop. And then yeah, about 2 weeks later my roots started coming in, and I had little black dots on my scalp that were my roots coming in. So I had to do it again. I probably waited a good month. I was already very into hair at this point, so I was watching makeup on YouTube and hair videos on YouTube all night. And so anyways, I retouched the roots I think once or twice and kept that really solid blonde look. And then towards the end of the year around prom, I had gotten like a root melt. So basically they matched my root color and melted it in so that I could start to let my hair grow out and not have to retouch the roots like every few weeks. At first I was absolutely mortified because it felt so dark on me. And I think this was when the gray hair was trending, so I had asked her to tone it to gray, and so it felt very dark. We ended up taking the toner out and keeping the root, and it was great. I was still super blonde, but I didn't have a harsh line of growth coming in, so I was really happy with that. And I kept that for a long time, until I was in hair school. Hair school is when things happen to your hair. I signed up and I still had that really blonde hair, and it was probably close to this length now, and I was really happy with it. And my teacher had suggested we do, I want to say it was an asymmetrical bob. We didn't end up doing asymmetrical, but we did cut it short, and I was like really sad because I felt like my hair was so long, but looking back, like, it was not healthy. So she was doing me a favor. And so I just had shorter blonde hair for a while, and then I started slowly going more natural because at this point, like, my roots were growing more and I didn't have as much length. So I was starting, like, it would be like if I did a bob today, like, I'd be pretty natural. So that's how my hair was. And then it started getting longer. I was like, you know what, I want to go dark again. I loved being dark. I want to go dark, be a dimensional dark brunette. We had used permanent hair color. So yeah, that was a bitch to try to get out, and I spent the next few years trying to get that out. So I would do highlights, and I would get to this point where I was kind of brondy, and then I would dye it dark again. And I went back and forth between trying to go light, and then I'd get so frustrated that I wasn't light enough that I'd go back dark. And I did that back and forth a lot, probably for the next like 3 years. Oh my god, I totally forgot. In hair school, I also did, this was when I was still blonde, I had done purple. I went to Sally's and got this purple hair dye, and I put it all over my blonde, and it was so bright, and honestly it was a vibe. But that was the craziest hair color I ever did. Actually, maybe not. There's a couple other times I've done funky colors. So there was another time where I had dyed some extensions blue because I really wanted blue hair, and I wore those. I think I only wore them out for Halloween. It was also a vibe, but I just, as you can probably tell, I could not make a decision and stick to one hair color. So sticking to such a vibrant color was not something that was realistic for me. So I never really committed. So after the purple is when we did the dark hair, the permanent color. After going back and forth between like blonde and really dark hair, I was brondy again, and I was like, I'm just gonna go get my hair done. Like, I'm gonna go into the city near me, I'm gonna get my hair done, and I'm gonna be fucking blonde, which is what I wanted. And so I did, and I got so blonde. But with that, you know, comes a little bit of damage, especially when where I was living at the time, I had really bad well water, and I didn't fully understand how that affected hair dye. When you have really bad well water, you have a lot of mineral buildup and potential chlorine building up on your hair, and I wasn't doing anything to clarify that out because I didn't understand that at the time. So then when I would go get my hair bleached and we went under heat, it was just like the perfect recipe for it to break a bit. You know, nothing crazy, but she wasn't as healthy. Like, you know, I had some little bangs, which also now I know happens, but at the time I was traumatized. I felt like my hair was so unhealthy, and I had a coworker just cut off everything that she thought was dead. I was like, cut it all off and I'm dyeing it dark and I'm not touching it. That's what I did. And it was so short. It was like the shortest stacked bob of my life. And there are not a lot of pictures of it. I like literally bought wigs and would try to hype myself up to wearing them out, which never happened. But I would like do my makeup at home and then put a wig on just to feel better about my hair. And that's around when I met my boyfriend, my now fiance, and I had this little dark bob and he loves it, but I absolutely hated it at the time. So I let that rock. I let it grow out for a while, a long time. And thankfully, like, that was right around when everyone was quarantining. So then the world shut down and I didn't have to see anyone, and I just kept dyeing my hair dark and darker at home. But it did give it a chance to grow because I wasn't going to work and leaving the house and styling my hair. My hair was that short, it required a lot of styling because I had so many layers and my hair is naturally wavy. So keep that in mind. After quarantine, my hair was pretty long and had gotten to the point where it was dark, but it was just like kind of fading reddish because I did have all that blonde underneath. So I would just do toners to kind of keep it more neutral and cancel out that warmth that I was seeing. And I did that for a long time. And I started getting highlights again. But they were by me. So as you can imagine, that's not super easy. I did a couple highlights and I really liked it, and then I did like a copper gloss because it was fall, and I let that fade out, and then I was Bronde again. That was great. My hair was really healthy, and then I got a shag haircut, which my hair absolutely loved because I was getting my hair cut all the time, so it was always really healthy and growing. Amazing. And it was pretty much all my natural at that point as well. I may have done a gloss, or we had just cut out most of the highlights at that point. And I was like, you know what, I need to be blonde again. So in true fashion, I just did like a full highlight on my head. It was not cute, but when you want to be blonde, you just want to be blonde. Like, you're gonna take what you can get. So I kept that. I really wanted to grow out my shag at this point, so I started like pinning my bangs back and yeah, just waiting for those thick ass bangs to grow out, because if you've had a shag, you know the bangs are thick. Once my hair had gotten to a point where the bangs could kind of be incorporated into the rest, I chopped my hair short, did a bob, and went even more blonde, and I loved that look. That was like, felt like very me, very signature look, and I kept that for a little bit until Halloween. And Halloween is where shit went downhill again. So Halloween, for my costume, backstory, we like to go all out for Halloween. So I was like, I'm gonna do a temporary dye. I had gotten this hair mask that was pigmented, and so it was copper, and that was going to go with my Halloween costume. And I put it all over my blonde hair, and it would not wash out. So it was stuck in there. I had some coworkers do a bleach bath on my hair, and then I had like this orangey, warm, blonde, like hot roots, and it was absolutely terrible. It was like that and the super dark stacked bob are my nightmares. Eventually I had another coworker who came to the rescue, and she like melted me and neutralized a lot of it, so that was really helpful and I was in a much better place. But again, I was like in that Bronde stage, which was just like so in between for me that I was like, am I a blonde or a brunette? Like I needed to pick one and identify with one for myself for some reason. I wasn't really feeling it anymore, so I decided let's do something high contrast so I get the best of both worlds. So then I went dark with like a pretty bold money piece and got extensions, and that was a vibe. I really liked that. Shocker, I was over the blonde money piece and I toned all of my hair and the extensions down to be dark again. And then I took my extensions out. I was like, you know what? I had them for length. It was a lot of hair. Summer was coming. I didn't want to have all the hair in my head. I was like, let me just give it a break. The same day I took my extensions out, I absolutely put in some highlights to break up that dark color I had, which wasn't bad, but you know, since I was so dark, I had a lot of warmth to work through, and that was gonna take a while because at this point I had decided I wanted to go light again. I started seeing my girl Sophie, who I've been seeing for a while now, and I was like, you know what, I want to start going lighter, but I can't do it myself because I'm going to absolutely fry my hair off. I know it because I can't do things gradually. So we did our first lightening session and I was Bronde and it was really cute. And then every like 6 or 8 weeks I would go back and do another full highlight just to get lighter and lighter and lighter, but doing it the right way this time. End of the summer, at this point I was pretty blonde and I was also having a crisis, and I was like, let's bob it again. Like I want my signature look back, that blonde bob, that's me. So we did that. I kept it for quite a while actually. I was really loving the short hair, and this was right around when everyone else was cutting their hair super short, so it was very on trend. I just kept going blonder and blonder because once my hair was short, I was like, okay, I can be as blonde as I want to be because I'm gonna just keep cutting off the dead ends. I got really blonde, and then I was like, you know, I'm going to grow my hair out. I'm over the short hair. And so I stayed really blonde, but I started growing my hair out, and I really, looking back, I really love how this looks. I think this was a really great look for me. I also was able to like give my hair a bit of a break, so it was growing a lot. I was starting to embrace like my natural root again at this point. So I was still really blonde, but I had a special event coming up, so what I did was I gave myself literally one foil right here to bring up my blonde, so that for my engagement party pictures I would look like I had gotten my hair done. When I had my next hair appointment, I really wanted to start embracing the natural, so we went darker and we started doing more Bronde, and absolutely beautiful, loved it. That's how we've gotten to where we are now. I have one row of extensions. My last appointment we like added more of a root and more lowlights, which it's been like 8 weeks now, so I'm due to have it done again, get it refreshed, but it's grown out beautifully and it's faded really beautiful, so I'm like pretty bright again. Yeah, my hair is in a very good state now. I will not be touching it myself because it's literally just not worth the stress, the aggravation, how much time it takes. It's absolutely ridiculous. So next week is my hair appointment. You'll have to let me know what you think I should do because right now I am undecided, but I think I want to go darker and embrace my natural again. Absolutely crazy, I know, but we shall see. I hope you enjoyed going through this journey with me. Key takeaway, don't do your own hair, even if you're a licensed hairstylist, and don't keep going back and forth between dark and light because your hair cannot handle it. No one's hair can handle it. Gotta pick one. Yeah, so stay tuned to see what we're gonna do with my hair next week, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.